So, I thought I'd make a video of some updates. Just got out of the shower. See, my hair's falling out. As you can see, the reason the hair's falling out is right just in the center of this. Reason is because I used to pluck my hair when I was 14, 15 years old, when I used to have a split hair, and it burnt out the hair follicles. Otherwise, it'd probably be more fuller, right? Especially down the middle. It would have granted me at least a few more years of hair. But I'm drastically losing the hair on top of here. I am 42 years old, but I should have had a better run, but I'm grateful. Anyway, as you can see, I'm starting to grow a lot of gray beard hair, and that's it. Anyway, I thought I'd make a video, so I went and got some exercise that I haven't had in a very, very, very long time. I like to do a specific workout with the soccer ball and kind of, see where my brain is at, balance, control, stopping points, rhythms, a variation of different types of rhythms, soccer ball tricks and whatnot, or what I can remember. I used to be a lot better, 10 times better. I'm so burnt out of shape, but I used to be 10 times, so much more better. Juggling the ball and just seeing how my balance is, kind of explosive thrusting, all sorts of many different types of balances and exercises. And I like to do that just to kind of see where I'm at, my brain. I am getting older. I don't ever work out. And most of all is how the blood circulates to my brain, how my heart is pumping, and how my lungs are functioning. That is the three paramount things for me, is because there's just so much of a health that you can't get from a doctor. So it's, to me, the way I see it, it's good to get an idea how the blood flows through the artery veins. For obviously those that know what a heart attack and stroke is where there is a plaque that sticks to the lining of the tube and it chips away, and then it tumbles, and then it gets stuck in one of the arteries, and that's what causes a heart attack and stroke. One that goes to a heart is a heart attack, the other one goes to a brain is a stroke. So sometimes you can have a piece of plaque that'll chip away from your leg, and it'll tumble throughout your body, get to your brain, and it stops right on your brain, and then that's where you have a stroke and die. So anyway, I think it's important to kind of get a feel, to get a good hard exercise, see how the right ventricle, left ventricle, the arteries, main aortas, how they pump, any malfunctions. Do I feel very disoriented? Is my brain clear enough to be able to comprehend and think correctly? Also, breathing patterns. I do a tremendous amount of smoking. Obviously, the lungs are pretty complex. You can also have air pockets in your lungs that clot, and it can kill you. You can have a blood artery pop in your... I remember a friend of mine told me this. Says you can have a blood artery that pops in your lungs and it can kill you. I'm not sure exactly what he said, but it has to do something with a blood clot in the lungs that it can kill a person. But it's good for me because you can kind of fluctuate the lungs, see how they intake oxygen compared. This is not of me competing in any kind of way. I need to see the sort of standard. To me, it's a standard health check. So I squat, I do all these different things, see how my limbs, my knees, my knees, my ankles, my hips, and also you have main arteries in the legs. So me squatting and then jolting back up, how well can I pick up my own weight? Because I don't do any working. And I have deteriorated a lot of muscle mass drastically. I'm lucky if I think I can probably bench press 140 pounds, at max. Maybe 135 pounds at max. I have drastically deteriorated a whole lot. And I mean, there's just so gets me an idea also because over the next couple of days, obviously strokes can happen days after. So I don't ever do those kind of workouts very often, but I do, you know, to kind of do a health checkup. And, you know, over the next couple of days, I'm just laying in this bed, obviously. So to kind of give me an idea, just my body laying over the next, doing an intense exercise, just at a still point, just relaxing. Going to be studying, watching more movies. And it's an off day. I decided to take a little bit more off than I should. I got about, I don't know, maybe an hour of studying, I think. I don't know. I don't think I have done any studying today. But I've been, you know, it's good to kind of, for me, you know, to see how the body's functioning. You know, blood circulation in the eyes, ear ringing. Can I control my balance after my heart is beating heavy? How do I feel when my heart is pumping? Does it feel like I'm drastically pushing too much? Can I still have a push to it? You know, sometimes things can happen several hours after, even days or week. So it's like catching a bacteria. You can catch a bacteria now, and then 3 weeks from now, you start to get symptoms of that. And it's because you caught something 3 weeks ago. So I do this just for safety precautions. I feel old. It's just, my body is just shit. I mean, it's just flubber. It's nothing, but it's good to kind of get an idea of what I do have, what muscle, little mass. But as far as any muscle, chest, and bench press, my body's deteriorated. Like I don't really, because it makes me too depressed talking about it, because I wasn't allowed to in my youth, and how hard I worked, and you know, my pushing capabilities. And that, you know, I got so many problems with the electronic devices and all this kind of shit. I'm just thankful for God and Jesus for giving me an opportunity. That's all I'm just grateful for. You know, I have stiffness in the liver, and also it gets me kind of checked to see how my face is. Do I look clammy after a workout like that? So I worked out, I think, I don't know how long I was at the gym. An hour and a half, 90 minutes, I would estimate. I don't know, maybe it was 2 hours. I would estimate I was there for at least 1 hour. I was there for about an hour to hour and a half, so about 90 minutes I would estimate it at. So I get a good idea how I feel. You know, stretching exercises between the crotch, you know, the elasticity. Once I feel comfortable, can I squat my knees comfortably, you know, from pivot in all sorts of ways? And I think it's very important because I do a lot of walking and I end up being homeless so often. My legs are my transportation, and that is key. My legs is what keeps me protected. You know, cars, danger, safety, it's what keeps me safe. And that's very important, you know, that I know where I'm walking. And so, yeah, I thought I got a good exercise. How do I feel? I feel gassed. My ankle feels a little sprained. Also, the thing about this as well is that I'm real pivoting toward my ankles. So I can tell whenever I can push too much pressure. And before, when I was younger, maybe in my 20s, the elasticity in the ligaments don't actually hurt. But since I'm older, how much more weight can I put? Because you got to keep in mind, when you don't work out and you start doing all kinds of exercises, that means the muscles and tissue and cartilage and all that stuff gets weaker as well. And I weigh a lot more. I got more fat, so I had less muscle. So when I put down balances, you're likely to more get injured instead of having less fat, you know, instead of faulty error. Because I could be not in my own faulty error. It's just because I'm not muscular enough and I have too much blubber compared to the ratio amount of muscle mass. and I could be perfectly balanced, it's just my body can't handle it. As opposed to, I just pushed over too much over that ligament and injured it, and it had nothing to do with my body couldn't handle it. It had to do to poor measurements of whatever I was doing. So it kind of gets me to kind of relax my lungs, see how I'm functioning. Heart, does my heart palpate too many times afterwards? How do I sleep? You know, when I go to sleep tonight, it's early during the day. I don't know what time it is. It's about 4 o'clock almost. About 3:30 to 4 o'clock. And get a good shower, kind of waking up. And I still have a lot of studying. I still have yet to do any studying at all today. So it kind of give me an idea. So once I get to this math, can I go and exercise like this and do this math? The thing about this is, for some reason, I enjoy not doing any type of physical exercise when I do educational stuff like this. I don't know why. I just don't like it. You know, I feel very comfortable just relaxing and exercising the brain more than anything when I'm doing that. So how do I feel about it? You know, it's kind of difficult. So anyway, I still have yet to do studying. It's good to take an off day, see how well I remember. Does it cause any memory loss? You know, if I start studying tomorrow, since I had all this blood rushing through my brain, my body, how do I feel if I concentrate? So it kind of gives me a gauging idea beside my liver having some stiffness to it. But yeah, I feel deterioratingly old, and you know, I just like to do those kind of exercises maybe once every 6 months, you know, just to kind of see how the ligaments and whatnot. But yeah, I'm gonna watch some more movies, and hopefully my brain's good to learn this education, math, GED stuff, geometry, algebra, and functions and graphics and square roots and whatnot.